Y'all get in here. Is y'all up? Are you asleep? If you get up, get up. Me and my forever constant black sweatshirt got something to tell you. Y'all, we just did it. I'm sorry, I'm being rude. I didn't speak. Hey, how y'all doing? Happy Friday. Listen, we'll do that later. So we just did a video, right? As a family, we just discussed the whole Britt Eady not coming to the reunion. Now, all of a sudden, the naked picture, well, not naked picture, shall we say, the picture of her giving head is not her. She's saying it's not her. She just saw it a little while ago. It's not her. Mind you, we know that Bravo had suspended Kenya because they were going to launch an investigation. And it was determined, they decided to cease filming with Kenya. When you think about investigation, I know we were all saying, what kind of investigation did they do? Because Kenya had come out and said that Britt threatened her with pips and whistles. You know, I said it wrong weeks ago, and I'm gonna keep saying it like that now. Y'all know what I'm saying. Pips and whistles. She threatened Kenya with it. People argued about whether it was a threat or not. It was indirect. If I'm arguing with you and in our argument you say I have a whistle and pip for you, I got whistles and pips, don't play with me. I'm going to rightly assume you're directing it towards me. So anyway, we're not going backwards. But so Kenya mentioned that to them. Child, they found that they said Britt said she ain't have nothing on her that night. How they know, we don't know because the night was over. So how did you determine that? Also, I had posted a podcast clip of Britt talking about how she always keeps her pow pow on her, right? So also in her statement, and I was trying to find it, but y'all, I actually am home because I came home to take a quick break before I went back out on the road because I'm stopping early today because y'all know I'm going to a high school reunion. My eye has almost cleared completely up. But anyway, so I'm going to Corey's high school reunion or whatever. So I'm driving, minding my business. I was at a light. I get a text and, like it popped up. Shout out to my boo, Carlos Harris, because we always be texting and talking to her. And my mouth about dropped open. This is from The Independent. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Britt Eady sues Bravo for 20 million dollars over explicit photo controversy. Now, when I saw that, I had not read it, right? I was at a light, but I was able to see that and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So, I pulled up, so I'm getting ready to read it for the first time with y'all. In just reading the headline, which we know we need to do more than read the headlines because sometimes headlines can be clickbait-ish, like they can make you think one thing. Well, my first thought was, but I thought she said the photo wasn't hers. Is she going to try to say, and mind you, again, I haven't read it. We get ready to read it together. But I was like, is she going to try to say Bravo knew it wasn't her and never came forward and never said it wasn't her? And they put her through emotional distress throughout the season. And with social media talking about it and everyone talking about it, like I'm wondering if that's what she's going to say. But we about to find out. Let's get into it. Exclusive lawsuit stems from a season 16 episode that featured an altercation between Edie and former co-star Kenya Moore. I'm sorry, y'all. I had interrupted myself. What I was getting ready to tell y'all was, didn't she thank Bravo for being supportive after all this happened and dropped, where she said she didn't have a whistle or she addressed the pow pow comment like I didn't have one, and she thanked Bravo for supporting her. I thought. Y'all let me know. But Real Housewives of Atlanta star Britt Edy has sued Bravo for 20 million, dollars, accusing the network of defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Hold on, y'all. Y'all had to pause it. A sneeze came on. So let's start that over. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Britt Edy has sued Bravo for 20 million, dollars, accusing the network of defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Let's start it again. She's accusing the network of defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sexual harassment, and fostering a hostile work environment. Edie, 37, who joined the reality series in its 16th season, filed the lawsuit on Thursday, yesterday, in the New York State Supreme Court. Bravo's parent company, NBC, and production companies True Original and Endemol Shine North America are also named as defendants. So NBC, and the two production companies, Truly Original and Endemol Shine North America. In the filing seen by The Independent, the reality star's allegations stem from an incident that occurred during a June 6th, hold on, what, a year today, wow, that occurred during a June 6, 2024 taping of the show and the subsequent airing of The Moment on April 2025, the episode. All right, so the event occurred on June 6, 2024. It aired April 2025. In the season's fifth episode, titled About Last Night, former RHOA star Kenya Moore celebrated the grand opening of her hair spa with longtime co-stars Portia Williams, Cynthia Bailey, Drew Sidora, and new castmates Brit Eady, Shamia Morton, Kelly Farrell, and Angela Oakley in attendance. Upon arrival, Eady, who had sparred with Moore earlier in the season, this is what the article is saying, attempted to make peace by gifting her a bouquet of flowers. Moore, however, rejected her apology, leaving Eady to bow out of the event gracefully. In Eady's absence, Moore proceeded to slam her and accuse her of looking for a moment, saying, "I'm going to pay you dust." Moore then brought out a poster board with the words, "Who is this hoe?" across the top. Below were explicit images, supposedly of Eady, which were blurred out, that she said she obtained with the help of an investigator. Reacting in horror and shock, the other woman told Moore she had gone too far before walking out. The episode ended with a title card that read, "Based on Kenya's behavior, the decision was made to cease filming with her this season." Appearing on an episode of The Tamron Hall Show in November of last year, Moore insisted she was not fired from the show, claiming she is still under contract and I am still an employee of the network and the show. However, according to People, Moore will not appear in the upcoming season 16 reunion episode, as sources claim she wasn't invited, which we know that to be true. Kenya's already let us know that. She was invited, then disinvited. On Thursday, Britt shockingly denied the photos were of her. "I do want to set the record straight about one thing: the graphic sexual photos surrounding the events in episode 5. That photo was not me. As the episode makes clear, I did not see the photo at the end of time." We know, we talked about this yesterday, but I'm just going to refresh your memory. "Rather, I was made aware of the photo being presented at the event, and based on what I was told, assumed that it was a photo of me, which is why I reacted in the way that I did. I did not know who was in that photo, but upon seeing it for the first time recently, I know it wasn't me." Britt Eady's lawsuit describes Kenya's actions as defamatory, harassing, and damaging. So here's my question. She's saying that, okay, let's go. Kenya's representative did not immediately respond to the Independent's request for comment. Moore also displayed posters containing written false and defamatory statements regarding plaintiff and her occupation, the document reads, as well as an explicit photograph depicting a woman engaged in graphic sexual conduct. The cast member falsely claimed that the photograph depicted the plaintiff. Now, wait a minute. The documents additionally accuse the defendants of willfully, intentionally, recklessly, and or with gross negligence producing, editing, and airing the episode, which falsely yet unmistakably implied that the graphic sexual photograph presented by the cast member depicted the plaintiff. On information and belief, defendants knew that the photograph did not depict plaintiff, or at the least were reckless or grossly negligent in failing to learn that the photographic, this is how they worded it, or at the least were reckless or grossly negligent in failing to learn that the photograph, oh yeah, did not depict plaintiff. The filing claims, they worded it right, that was my bad. It claims that despite Britt's repeated requests that she be shown the photograph before the episode aired, defendants refused to do so. B. The Independent has contacted Bravo, NBC, Truly Original, and Endemol Shine for comment. Britt is seeking the immediate removal of the episode from public access on all platforms, networks, and media outlets in the defendant's control, as well as a public statement from the defendants that Moore's comments about Eady and the explicit photograph shown were false. She is also seeking a monetary award to be determined at trial, punitive damages, and legal fees. Should defendant fail to appear herein, judgment will be entered by default for the sum of not less than $20 million with interest. Child, Britt trying to get a come up. And the costs and fees of this action while at the same time making sure that the payment for the country club and the event decorator, not planner, be paid as well. It don't say that. I said it because that's what it should say. Y'all, Brit looking for money. Brit ain't got, I'm starting to believe Brit really ain't got the money. Well, not starting. I believe Brit don't got the money she wanted to portray. And it was her not showing up to the reunion is to go along with how embarrassed and ashamed and she was feeling. Like it all adds to this lawsuit. Like she couldn't even come to the reunion, the public embarrassment, all this stuff. What y'all think? Y'all think Bravo will end up settling? Now, I said this in the video yesterday. Ain't no why nobody ain't say that that wasn't her. Her castmates acted like it was Britt. Now, when we go back, I will say, well, Portia on her YouTube said it was an underage Britt. Remember, he said that because Britt in her confessional said, when I was in my teens, I felt like she was trying to imply that she was underage. When I was in my teens, she did some things with her boyfriend and took some pictures. Something, if Bravo aired that footage knowing it wasn't her just to create a story, if y'all got to go this far, it might be time to wrap it up. As much as I love, still, I know that they've changed, but I'm not gonna lie and I'm not gonna fake the funk. I still enjoy the Housewives universe, right? And the Bravo universe. I don't always enjoy what they do and the way they try to play people and some of the disparaging ways in which people are depicted and the way they treat certain casts versus other casts and the way they try to appear as a equitable company that believes in equality by just throwing black women on shows. As much as they do that, I still enjoy the Housewives universe, right? The Bravo verse, right? However, because we don't know, this is true, and they knew that wasn't Brit, but wanted a story, it would, for me, it was like, oh, it's either time to wrap it up or the people who made those decisions, it's time for them to go. Because not only, I'm gonna be honest, as much as I don't care for, as much as I didn't think that Brit was a fit for housewives across the board, I'm gonna say, if this is true, I'm with her. If this is true, as far as yo, you knew it wasn't me and let this play out like that, it makes me wonder. Then we know that Bravo is good for showing us a trailer and then we watch the season and the things aren't in there that was in the trailer. When Britt got out the car crying and was like, now I got to explain to my mom about sucking or giving head. Now, that's not what she said, but she said sucking D, that was taken out. Just to put somebody through that, you thinking that the world has seen, because you don't know if they're going to blow it or not, right? You thinking that the world has seen you. And then to further that, let's not act like the social media presence. I mean, as much as people, people have the content creators they care for and don't care for, right? Everybody has their preferences. No matter how you feel about a content creator, I was watching Michelle Alien's reports as she was at the event outside. Yes, she was outside. And she was like filming. She was talking to Cynthia, talking to a lot of the folks. And you know how we saw after on the episode, we saw people leave out after Kenya showed that. I watched Michelle was sitting in her car and on her people were coming up to her car saying, yo, Kenya just showed a photo of Brit Eady sucking. People were saying that. So that's why, but wait a minute. I was going to say, that's why even yesterday I was confused. Like, so did the people not see what they saw? Even though we never heard a housewife say it was Brit in that moment, did the people not see what they saw? The people there couldn't tell that it wasn't Brit, but if it was edited to make it seem like Brit, like a picture of Brit, and I'm not talking about that cartoon picture that went around. Remember on social media they had like a TV screen. Somebody put like a TV screen. It was a picture of Kenya at her salon, and somebody put like a TV screen and like a picture of a fake penis or something. Like, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about that somebody digitally alter a real photo and make it seem like Brit had a penis in her mouth. Something had to have happened for the people in there to think it was Brit. For people coming out of the event, I saw someone go up to Michelle's car and say, Kenya just showed a picture of Brit, da 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 da. Portia, yes, she was going on for what Britt said, but she says on her YouTube, again, the picture that Kenya showed of Britt was underage. So she's thinking she's looking at a picture of Britt. So that's to me, which makes me go back to wait a minute. Why wouldn't the producer say, hold up, that's not Britt? So was there an altered picture? Was there a picture of Britt sucking a penis, but she's trying to say, that's not me? Like it was altered? Because she's saying that's not me. She's not saying I never took a picture like that. So you must have put my face on somebody else doing that. She's saying that's not me. She's not saying again somebody altered a picture, somebody put a penis in my mouth. She's saying that's not me. So I'm going to really need somebody to say something because those folks thought they saw her taking it to the head while giving head. They thought they saw her. Now she's saying it's not her and is suing Bravo. Again, I'm with her a little bit when she says, if it's not, I'm with her a little bit. If it's not her and Bravo knew that it wasn't her and still let this narrative play out for ratings or whatever, because that also affected Kenya's job. Now, look, I feel like what Bravo will try to do is say, well, it still affected Kenya's job because whether it was Brit or somebody else, it was breaking their code of conduct. And I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying I think that's what Bravo would say, right? That they'll probably try to say that it broke their code of conduct or what have you. I didn't agree with Kenya doing that. I agreed with Kenya getting her licked back some type of way because I do believe Brit was picking with her. I don't believe Kenya was really picking with Brit like that. However, I don't know. Should she have done it at the event? No. That's neither here nor there. We're so far beyond that. But now I'm like, what I'm kind of interested in this case now because I want to know what was it? Was it an altered pic of Brit? Like it some kind of way they digitally altered a photo of Brit to make it look like she had a penis in her mouth, or it was somebody with an actual penis in their mouth and Brit's face was, because AI things can look real that are not. Did that happen? And if that's not the case, was it not Brit and everybody knew, but they just went along with it? I need some answers. What y'all think? I want to know. Like I said, the whole Brit thing then got just a little bit of a little a little bit of interesting for me because now I want to know what happened. What was Bravo's and NBC Universal and the production companies? What was their actual role in this? I just want to see something real quick after. I wanted to see. I really was looking for Brit's statement after that picture was shown of her. Hold on a second. Hold on. Because I thought for sure she thanked Bravo. But then again, you know what? It doesn't even matter because she could have thanked Bravo for supporting her and then later found out, hey, this picture's not even me and y'all allow this narrative to play out. Baby, this is gonna be some. She said 20 million. They starting high because they know she ain't getting no 20 million. I just want to go back up real quick, y'all. Just a really, 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 really quick and say, because she said the photo wasn't her, and I wanted to see exactly what she's saying. Her lawsuit describes Kenya's actions as defamatory, harassing, and damaging. Kenya displayed posters containing written false and defamatory statements regarding plaintiff and her occupation, as well. Oh, because Kenya said, "Who is this insurance fraud hoe?" And then, as well as an explicit photograph depicting a woman engaged in graphic sexual conduct. The member falsely claimed that the photograph depicted the plaintiff. Now, here's another question. We saw Kenya's statement of apology again yesterday. She apologized for what she did to Britt, to production, to everybody, and says she looked forward to seeing us on Bravo. I mean, get that last line again, because I wonder if, with that being done, with Britt accusing Kenya of doing X, Y, and Z, but suing Bravo, NBC Universal, and Truly Original, um, could that affect Kenya coming back? Only because would Bravo just want to cut ties with anything associated with Britt, even Kenya? Because again, she's named in this lawsuit. She said, wait a minute, hold on a second. Now, someone said Kenya Moore has been exonerated. Now, I'm going to say, I don't know if that means, do y'all think that means she's been exonerated? Because she still did the action. And the intent was to show Britt doing that. I don't know what y'all think. But I wanted to read Kenya's statement about Bravo. She said, "I look forward to seeing you all back on Bravo soon." So Britt is not suing Kenya, but she names Kenya again by saying Kenya Moore displayed posters containing written false and defamatory statements regarding plaintiff and her occupation, as well as an explicit photograph depicting a woman engaged in graphic sexual conduct. The cast member falsely claimed that the photograph depicted the plaintiff. So will Bravo be like, you know what, Kenya, I'm sorry, we can't bring you back. You are now tied into this. Like, do y'all think that could possibly? Because I could see Bravo trying to use that. I feel like they didn't want to bring Kenya back anyway, especially after her very real interview with Carlos, which I enjoyed. I feel like they didn't want to bring her back, but they know, ultimately, I feel like they know her presence carries weight on the cast, right? And then when this happened, they saw it as a way to, I feel like if this had played out differently with Britt, and Britt wasn't a flop and the audience loved her and all this other stuff outside of that, I don't believe Kenya will be back. But I think they know they made a mistake in removing Kenya from this season. And I don't think they banked on that because, listen, if Kenya had an equal amount of supporters as people, as if Kenya had equal parts of supporters and people that didn't like her, but she's still trending every week, still being talked about, they know that that is good for the show. Besides, going at each other, they all know that that's good for the show and brings eyes to the show, right? So, but I think they didn't realize, even the people that don't necessarily support Kenya were like, now wait a daggone minute. And they were rooting for Kenya. I think Bravo made a miscalculation, right? Because again, it would be different if they had suspended both of them, but they didn't. But I am wondering if Bravo will now say, well, you're named in the suit, or we just kind of want to get rid of that and do whatever. I do wonder if Bravo is going to settle, though. Because again, if that picture is not her, really, like, and I guess they wouldn't her side have to prove that Bravo knew that? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Just a little bit of late breaking news. I'm about to go out, do a little bit more before I come back and start hit the gym and then get ready for the reunion. I love y'all so much. I may try to do another video. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya. Make sure you tell me to have fun tonight. All right, see you.